Hello and welcome to Wednesday. We are going to continue with our focused note taking. So please get out a piece of notebook paper. If you don't have any, there's some on the windowsill by the desk. Pause right now so you can get that ready. Okay, once you have your notebook paper, you are going to make 4 columns. Get this out of the way here. You're going to make 4 columns. So you're going to have a column that says what I know about this topic. You're going to have a column that says what I want to know about this topic, a column that says what I learned about this topic, and a column that says how I can apply this topic. So go ahead and pause it and find a straight edge or do the very best you can to make a straight line and make 4 columns on that paper. We're going to continue talking about taking notes. So today's objective is we're going to identify the rewind. The first phase of taking notes is identifying the objective and taking the actual notes. So we are going to take notes on taking notes. So go ahead and in those 2 left columns, I want you to think about, try and get at least 5 things under each one of those. So I want you to write 5 things under what you know about this topic. What do you know about taking notes? Okay, write 5 things under there. And then in the next column, what I want to know about this topic, I want you to write 5 things under there about what you want to know about taking notes. Pause as you need to so you can fill out what you need to fill out. Okay, so there's different formats for notes depending on the purpose. So like, in math, there's a certain way that you do notes. In English, there's a different way that you do notes. So we want to remember the why about note taking. Note taking is a necessary skill for academic and career success. We know that we can use it not only at school, but in our outside life as well. So I want you to pause for a second and I want you to find a partner. Flip over your piece of notebook paper and I want you to write their name on the paper so you know who your partner is. And I want you guys to take a minute or two and just talk about how would my purpose for taking notes affect what I would write down and the format I would use to write it down. So go ahead and answer that question. Pause it, read it again if you need to. Again, how would my purpose for taking notes affect what I write down and the format I would use to write down? Okay, so the first phase of the focused note-taking process, we're going to have sheets like this. I haven't printed them out for you yet, but you'll see them soon. And we're going to talk about the 5 phases of focused note-taking. Here are the 5 phases. We briefly talked about them yesterday. Of course, the very first one is taking notes. After that, we're going to process our notes, connect the thinking, summarize, and then apply the learning. So there's 3 different chunks here. The first part is collecting your notes, then you reflect on your notes, and then you recollect on your notes, and you actually apply what you learned in those notes. Okay? We are going to talk about phase 1. We're going to practice the focused note-taking process. So you will be taking notes. So establish a purpose and objective for note-taking. Create or share an essential question to guide the note-taking. So anytime you take notes, you're going to want an essential question. Why am I taking these notes? What is the purpose of this subject that I'm doing right now? Okay? So today's purpose and objective is to understand and demonstrate the 5 phases of the focused note-taking process and to make connections to how they can support my current and future academic success. Today's essential question is how can focused note-taking support my current and future academic and career success? So I want you to write that on your notebook paper, not on the side that has the 4 columns, On the side that you just wrote with your partner, I want you to write EQ, or you can write out essential question, and I want you to write, how can focused note-taking support my current and future academic and career success? So go ahead and pause and write that question down. Then you're going to select the best format for the notes. We're going to learn how to use a variety of formats for different purposes. And you're going to write notes based on your source or your sources. You're going to select and paraphrase, arrange the information thoughtfully. So depending on what you're writing notes on is how you're going to organize your notes. Okay? So phase 1 is our note taking. Here's a couple different ways that you can organize your notes. The first one here is Cornell Notes on the left side. So some of you guys might have seen Cornell Notes before. I don't know what you guys do in English. Maybe you have Cornell Notes. Some of our notes in math have Cornell Notes where there's that column on the left side that's open for you to write in there. I don't know if you guys noticed that. The next one that you can do is a 2 and 3 column notes. On the left column, you would write the term, the middle, you would do the definition, and then you would do examples. So this is kind of like when we do our vocab in our math class, we have 3 column notes. Another way is doing a mind map, graphic organizers, I'm sure you've seen plenty of those, and interactive notebooks. So those are just some of the different ways that you can organize your notes depending on what subject you are working with. Phase 2 of taking notes is processing notes. So as I'm talking about this stuff, I want you guys to be writing down stuff on that back side so that you guys are taking notes on taking notes, okay? So you should have written down phase 1 and what phase 1 was and some information about that. Now we're on to phase 2, which is processing the notes. So go ahead and write phase 2 on your notes, processing notes, and write down some of the stuff. Now, when you're taking notes, you don't have to write absolutely everything. In fact, you shouldn't write everything. You just want to write the important information. So depending on what kind of notes you have, you want to underline, highlight, and circle important information. Questioning, what does this mean? So put a question mark or write what next to it so that when you come back, you can answer that question. You can delete and add different parts to the notes. Classify, organize, and chunk your notes after you've done with them, and write the main ideas and the less important ideas and details. So this is after you've written your notes. You're going to go back and check your notes, and you're going to look at these different things inside of your notes. The next phase is phase 3, connecting your thinking. So now that you have your notes written and you have processed your notes, you've gone back through your notes, you're going to ask questions about your notes. Wonderment questions. So you're going to try and comprehend them, predict different things, use application, planning, and strategy. You're going to use Costa's levels of thinking. We're going to talk about that more later. And then you're going to add original thinking. So not only what you were told, but now you're going to write your thoughts on there as well. You're going to make connections with things you already know, things that happened in your life or your world already. And you're going to connect it to your note-taking purpose. Phase 4 is going to be summarizing and reflecting on your learning. So now that you've written your notes, you've gone back and you have processed your notes, you have connected your notes. Now you're going to think about your notes as a whole. What did you learn from all of this? What did you capture from all this? What was the main information that you got? Did you answer the essential question? Okay, and you're also going to reflect. How was this useful? Was it useful to me to know this for the stuff that I need to know coming up? And you're going to plan from where you go from here. Phase 5 is going to be apply your learning. So use the notes for their intended purpose. So your teacher didn't just give you these notes for you to take and throw out the window. They're there because they want you to know this information for an upcoming test or for the content that you are doing in your class. Okay, so you're going to demonstrate what you've learned or apply it in a new situation. So this might mean that you're taking a test. You're going to take what you've learned, and now you're going to take that test and you're going to do well on it because you've gone through your notes. Okay? All right, so now you're going to watch a video. Focus note taking overview, supplement the notes that you've already taken, so you should have taken notes already, by adding notes from this student overview video. So you're going to add some more notes to your paper that you have from this video, okay? So anything that you learn, anything new, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to let this play this whole entire video, okay?
All right, let's stop the video.
All right, so you saw the video. Hopefully you took notes on the video as well. And let's keep moving on here. All right, so now that you've watched the video, you've gone through all of the processes, you're going to go back to that graphic organizer that we made with the 4 columns. So flip your paper back over. Think about what you learned and how to effectively take notes. And you're going to continue to add to the want to know column and start to add to the what I learned column. So in that second column where we had what I want to know about this topic, add anything that you want to know about note taking that you didn't see or hear in the video. And then you're going to add some to the what I learned about this topic. So go ahead and write 5 or more things that you learned about from this video in that column. And then that is it. Oh, wrong way. We went the wrong way. No. Okay. That is our last slide there. And so then when I come in tomorrow, we will check those out and we will continue with our focused note taking. Have a great day, guys.